Look at this, guys. My mum did this little welcome home balloons for me with this Australia tablecloth here. Really cool. And of course we got my famous, amazing ravioli. This is my favorite, probably my favorite dish here, homemade ricotta ravioli. Absolutely amazing. I missed this a whole lot whilst in Thailand, so I can't wait to have some of these again once I'm back now. Alright guys, we're gonna try the ravioli down here. Let's try a bit of it. It's been a year and 3 months since I had this, so here we go. Oh, so good. Oh, feels good to have this again, guys. There you go. There's a closer look. Oh man, so good. Alright guys, here is my favorite dessert. My mum also made this for me. Pavlova. You guys from Australia would be quite familiar with this sort of dessert. It's like a meringue with fresh cream here as well, and it's typically decorated with fruit like strawberries and blueberries, that sort of thing. This is a very sweet dessert, but this is amazing. It is my favorite dessert, and I certainly missed having this one as well, since being in Thailand as well. Very difficult to find a good pavlova like this in Thailand for sure. Alright guys, here's a closer look again. I'm gonna try this as well. Oh man, excited for this. Oh man, this is like heaven. It really is like heaven. It just melts in your mouth, man. Oh my gosh. Massive shout out to my mum for making this. My favorite foods. So good. Probably one of the things that I miss the most about being in Australia. Most definitely the food. my mum's homemade food. What's up guys? Well, I'm back in Australia. Feels kind of surreal to be back home. You know, first day back, I wanted to give my immediate impressions, my immediate thoughts, and just what my first day back in Australia was like. My flight was all good from Phuket to Melbourne. It was about an 8-hour flight with Jetstar. It was delayed by about an hour, which was, you know, typical Jetstar, typical low-cost airlines. Always usually delayed. What else? The flight was really good though. Otherwise, checking in took a little bit longer for me because I'm unvaccinated. They were checking my documents very thoroughly. I had all the documents in order. And I did also have an exemption from quarantine from the Victorian government, which is very good. They had never seen this document before, the check-in staff, so they were taking a little bit more time to process everything. So I had to wait about 30 to 40 minutes at the check-in area whilst they were, you know, contacting the supervisors and etc, you know, that whole process. But yeah, that was all fine anyway. They let me through, and the flight was very good. It was not busy at all. About half of the flight was full. It was only half full, so there was, compared to a few months earlier where my mum flew from Phuket to Melbourne, it was pretty much full, whereas my flight was only half full, and I had the whole road to myself, which was very good. Spider-Man No Way Home was shown on the in-flight entertainment system. That made my whole day, that made my whole flight a lot easier. Avengers Endgame was on there, Wonder Woman was on there, so my flight was very good with that. I was very excited to see all those, all of my favorite movies there on the in-flight screen, in-flight entertainment there, so that was good. Flight went very quickly because considering I did a 14-hour bus ride from Phuket to Bangkok just a few weeks earlier, this flight was nothing for me, so so that was all good. Other than that, once I arrived down in Melbourne, another wait for me. The people were checking my passport, and I had to show my exemption from mandatory quarantine. Again, another wait. People were, you know, they wanted to question me a little bit more, and I had to wait a further 20 to 30 minutes at this little area in the arrivals or the baggage claim sort of area in Melbourne Airport, where they have, it's like a hotel quarantine sort of section, and I immediately saw the sign hotel quarantine. I'm like, wait a minute, I got an exemption from mandatory quarantine, I'm not going there. And she said, yeah, no problem, we're just getting you to sit down in this area because you need to be asked a few more questions. And yeah, so it is what it is, man. If you're unvaccinated, you're gonna have it a little bit more of a hassle, a little bit more of a delay when you're traveling. But for me, otherwise it was all good. The staff are very nice. They were all very, very good with me. But yeah, it's obviously gonna take a little bit longer for them to process me. So once I got through that, then I was able to go home, basically. And unfortunately, so my last day in Thailand, literally hours before my flight from Phuket to Melbourne, I had the idea to go down to the Phuket airport, and you guys will see this video. If you haven't already seen it, I'll leave it on the screen for you guys, so you can check that out. But I decided to go to the beach near the airport, near the Phuket airport, so I can see the planes landing down there, because you can see them very, very close to you once they're coming down and landing. It's almost literally on top of your head. So that was cool. I went to the viewpoint there. So once I was walking on the beach, I had these two dogs run up to me. They obviously thought I was, gonna go on their territory. So I hear them behind me. I was walking and I hear these dogs barking from behind, and all of a sudden I just feel them. One of them just bit my leg, the back of my leg, and did not expect it. I didn't know they were running so quickly. So I feel one of them scratched or bit my leg. And so really, really annoying. It's never happened to me before where a dog's bit me like that in Thailand. So that whole thing happened. And it wasn't that bad. It was a little bit of a scratch, but I obviously wanted to take the precaution of, when I come back to Australia, go to the GP and get that checked for rabies or that sort of thing. So they told me to go to the hospital here in Melbourne, the Austin Hospital. So ended up going there, and boy, oh boy, this is where the whole thing started, man. I got to see firsthand how much of a shit show it really is. Like, well, welcome back to Australia, because basically there were 72 people in the waiting area. 72 people, including myself. Only 2 nurses and 1 doctor were in the whole emergency area. That was it. So as you can imagine, it was one hell of a wait. There was some people that were there for 8 hours, 9 hours. It was just ridiculous. And so I was waiting there at least 3 hours, nothing. All of a sudden, I guess the head nurse and the head triage nurse comes through and makes an announcement for everybody and says, sorry, we got 72 people in the waiting room. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. Most of you won't be seen tonight. Like, literally, she just said that. She was very, very frustrated the way she said that, because, I could see how much it affected her to be able to say this. She was obviously really pissed off to be not able to see everyone. They were incredibly understaffed, and this is the real problem we have in Australia. Understaffed because I think obviously a lot of people got fired because they were unvaccinated, and we have this vaccine mandates here in Australia, which is just ridiculous. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I'm pissed off about it. I was pissed off about it. Nobody wants to wait in a waiting room and have no doctors or nurses there, because a lot of them are just sitting at home twiddling their thumbs because they're unvaccinated. I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous. Something needs to change. Dictator Dan up there, man, you gotta get your ass moving and remove these mandates. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it makes me sick, because there's people out there who, there were a lot of them are in pain, and if that was your grandmother or your family member who was there, who was really needing attention, what are you gonna do? Some of these people were gonna get worse in that condition without being seen. What are you guys gonna do? You need more staff. Well, bring back the unvaccinated staff that you fired. It's simple as that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just incredibly pissed off because of this whole situation. It's just so unnecessary, and they could have avoided this whole thing if they didn't fire the unvaccinated people. It's just insane. But anyway, I'm not gonna go in any more into that. I got to see it firsthand with my own eyes, and that was one hell of a day, one hell of a welcome back to Australia. That's all. I was spending a majority of my time in hospital after an 8-hour flight. The GP says, go to the hospital, get it checked. And, well, I couldn't get it checked because 72 people were in front of me. And yeah, that was that. But anyway, thankfully it's all good now. I went back to the GP the next day, and I managed to get some sort of antibiotics for this dog bite. I don't think it's really hard to say if it was a dog bite or a scratch, but you know, because I didn't see it. It was in the back of my leg. So we have to see what happens, guys. But I just wanted to give you guys a brief update on my time here in Australia so far. Quite controversial to say the least. I will tell you guys one thing. It feels really, really weird to be back. And I don't know if it's just because I've been away for so long. It just feels strange to be back. Like, I feel like a tourist in my own country. I know that kind of sounds really weird to you guys, but because I haven't been back for so long, you know, I notice things a lot more now than before, because obviously you haven't been here for so long, and you just notice the general differences. And straight out, like, you know, I go out and going around my local neighborhood here at the shops, you know, not wearing a mask for once. Now that I will say I'm very, very happy about not wearing a mask outside and inside too as well, which is very, very good. I'm so thrilled about that. Of course, in Thailand, masks are mandatory pretty much everywhere you go. So that really sucks. That's my biggest gripe with Thailand is that whole mask situation. Whereas here, you don't have to wear it, which is very, very good. And I'm happy about that. But just, yeah, it feels really strange walking around the streets. I feel like a tourist in my own city. You know, it just feels really strange. You know, I just feel a little out of place. I don't know how to explain it. It's a really weird feeling. And I think those of you who have been away from your country for so long, you guys are probably the only ones that will sort of understand me understand where I'm coming from in this situation. I don't know if you guys have felt the same way. If you've been in the situation before, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well, if you've ever been in this situation. But I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. But yeah, otherwise it's just, yeah, as I said, really strange to be back. You know, you notice things like the people in the streets, you know, in the shops in Thailand, you see a lot of people, the Thai people will be dressed up, you know, a little bit more dressed up. And even in Udon Thani, like places like that, places like, you know, a little more low key. A lot of the locals are wearing pretty much, you know, very stylish. The Thai people are very stylish when they go out. They like to impress. Whereas over here, I go out to the local Coles or Woolworths or whatever. You got the people in there. Some of them in their pajamas. I walk past two ladies in their pajamas. I'm like, what is this? It's just crazy. And you know, people in their hoodies, their tracksuits, you know, that sort of thing, which I understand can get a little bit cold here, so I totally get it. But it's just, yeah, it's little things that I like that make me laugh. But yeah, it's really, really interesting to be back and see the little differences between here and Thailand. You know, you can't help but pick the differences. But yeah, it just feels really out of place here. It's probably going to take me some time to get used to it back over here again. So we'll see what happens. But I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll keep you guys along with me in this journey. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching this quick update video. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because there will be more videos to come from Australia, from Melbourne. And yeah, if you guys are in this area, you guys probably know a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you. But otherwise, yeah, it's just for those people who haven't been here in Australia, and I do like to show you guys my area, my city. You know, I think it would be pretty cool to see that for you guys, and you guys can know me a little bit more personally about my life and my background. So that would be cool. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel for upcoming videos in the future, and don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified of any upcoming videos as well. And be sure to click the thumbs up button on this video. It really helps out the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm very, very grateful for your time. God is good. Let the journey continue.